What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Track Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going.
Hopefully great.
Hopefully great.
Yes, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining.
Yeah.
The kids are out playing, or well, at least one of them is.
Yeah.
We had games.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And I coached.
Yes.
Dude, I got roped into coaching.
you do well, though.
That's what happens when you show up.
And you enjoy it.
Well, you know what? So I coached, Joey's playing baseball and Audrey's playing basketball. And so what happened was last week when Joey went to baseball practice, if I'm around, like I'll just jump in and
you'll help out.
Try to help the kids. But because Miguel loves the kids, But so I jump in there and I'm just,
talking in third person now.
I'm just saying. That's funny. But yeah, so I jump in there and, I'm just helping them with the baseballs, running the drills and batting and all that kind of stuff. So last week at practice, the coach is like, hey, next week I got a vacation that we had planned for months and I wanted to see if you would cover coaching. And I was like, okay. So I went in there. One of the other parents also helped out and it was great. It was cool.
Yeah.
The kids did really good today too.
Yeah.
They did.
It's exciting to see them just getting better.
And then Thursday, I go with Audrey to basketball practice, and the coach is like, right at the end of practice, usually at her practice, the basketball, because I'm not good at baseball or basketball. But the basketball coach seems like he's got it. Oh, yeah. He's got it down.
He's on top of
his
game.
I just kind of sit on the sideline and just watch what they do. And then on Thursday, he said something to me, like he's like, hey, can you come and stand over here? And I was like, okay. So I went and I got up and they were playing defense on me or whatever. And then at the end of practice, he's like, hey, I got something going on Saturday. He's like, you mind covering? But he ended up showing up.
Yeah.
But the kids, cool. they played great today.
And I'm glad you did, because Audrey mentions that you helped Joey's coach a lot, but you haven't helped her coach. But it's because I take her and
they have
you take Joey
at the
same time. So it was good for her,
And that's why I wanted to go to, like I told you last Thursday and the Thursday before, it's like I want to go to her practice because like you said, I take Joey and I don't want her to feel like, well, Dad just takes Joey and he doesn't come see me.
Yeah.
So on Thursdays I go.
That was a good thing.
Watch her.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but go ahead. What?
Our anniversary.
Okay, go for it.
Congratulations to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is our 2-year anniversary.
How many episodes?
Dude, this is episode 117.
117. No, it's it's amazing when you look back and to see where we are today, because we started in our kitchen table.
Do you remember
on our kitchen?
Do you remember
on our kitchen table?
Literally on the kitchen table, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the talk about us starting the podcast? Do you remember any of that?
I just remember you asking
I brought
me.
it to you.
Yeah, you just asked me if I would like to, what do you think about starting a podcast? But you already had a name.
I did.
Yeah, like you were.
I had been thinking about it.
Yeah, and you just like caught me. But I'm very spontaneous. I was like, okay, no. Sounds like fun. Let's do it. No.
What do you remember how you felt in the beginning?
I'm like, at first I didn't feel I was fine. Because it was only audio, right? At the beginning.
Yeah, only for the first 2 episodes. And
then you started talking about
recording the video.
Yeah, the video. And I'm like, well, I don't know. That got me a little nervous.
Well, how did you feel about like talking every week on the podcast? Just like,
I thought it'd be exciting because I was doing a lot of speaking engagements during that time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, this would be cool, and I just thought about the information that we can offer maybe to help people. So that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
And I had to get over some things because I told you, like once we were doing videos, the whole, just image kind of deal,
Yeah.
And one of my signers asked me about that because she's like, well, how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm okay with it today. I said, but I had to work through some things. I had to get over myself. I had to, recognize and realize that what we do is not for us. It's for our listeners.
Yeah.
You know,
there's
it's
that.
for our followers. So get over yourself and, you know, do what you got to do.
There is that vulnerability. It's funny because we were just before we started recording talking about Bill Soroka, our friend. And you guys can go back and listen to the podcast that we had with Bill. But there was something that he talked about. It's like the vulnerability. And it's like once you put something out there, you can't bring it back.
Right.
You know, once you hit publish or release or whatever on that video, on that episode, on whatever, that's out forever now.
And another thing that was pretty challenging for me was because I used to care a lot about what people would say or think, right?
In the beginning?
And people can make comments. Well, yeah, because I mean, it's out there for the world to see, you know, and I know that with me speaking at times, there were things that I would say that I still say. You probably hear it every once in a while, like, I know, or like, you know, like those are when I start to get nervous, those are things that come out. And so I recognize and I try to, you know, check that. But every once in a while, listening to the podcast, I hear it. And it's weird because I don't like listening to myself and I don't like watching myself.
Yeah.
So when you're like, have you listened to the podcast?
Have you watched the podcast?
You hear me
probably
listening to
all
others.
The other podcasts.
Right.
Don't listen to our podcast.
Right. You know, because I'm very, you know, it's just, you know, just getting over and stop being so judgmental and just, you know, and laugh at yourself. Yes. Yeah. Because there's times where I'll say shit, you know, my vocabulary's off or, you know, and it's like, that's another thing I just had to get over.
Dude, you know what? I mean, well, one thing that we wanted to talk about is for those people out there, and we've talked about it before, that are trying to do something, that are building something, that have a dream that they're chasing or whatever you're doing. Man, it's tough.
It is.
It can be tough.
Yes.
And the thing is that in the beginning, there are so many skills, and there's skills that you don't even know you need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And one thing that, I mean, over the last 2 years, and that I've been noticing is that there's times, and I think it happens when we have guests, because like I know it's a show that we're doing, and we do want to provide, you know, information. But I also want to try and keep the thing going and not make it clunky. You know, we want it to be somewhat smooth, right? And there's times that there'll be people talking, and I mean, this is just a human thing, that I'm thinking, like I'm hearing what they're saying, I'm thinking of something, and then I get sidetracked thinking about what I'm trying to say. And then when I come back, we're not even on the same subject anymore, and I'm making a comment about something that's not related.
Because you're thinking, instead of listening, you're thinking about what you're going to say.
And I hear it back when I'm listening to it back, and I'm like, fuck, I can't believe I did that, you know? But I mean, but these are like interviewing skills that you have to pick up. And there's stuff like that with any business, you know, with anything that you're doing, there's going to be these skills that you don't realize that you need that you have to learn.
But people don't want perfect.
I know.
You know, like people don't want perfect. And that's something like you and I, like we have, you know, challenges with, because I'm like, let's go with it. Like I need it to be raw and I want it to be real and I want them to see it. And at times, like you'll, you know, stop a recording because you feel a certain way about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that from the feedback, from what I got back from family and friends, is that's what they love. They love it.
That was different. But yeah, I know what you mean.
You know?
No, and I do want it to be real and authentic, but that doesn't mean that you don't put out the best possible product that you can. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that it's not going to be real, it's not going to be authentic, just because we're focused on the quality of what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's the other thing. You gotta make sure that you may not have the best whatever. It doesn't matter. It's doing the best with whatever you have. There's something that my friend Stevens from Like Father Like Daughter podcast, he was a Marine, and this is something that Marines are really good at, and is using the resources that they have. Like they may not have the best of anything, but they make the best out of whatever they have.
Right.
And they're good at it, you know? So whenever you're trying to do something, that's something that you have to kind of get good at. Whatever you have, just do the best you can with that.
I was listening to Lisa Nichols, because we're talking about, you know, just if there's something that you want to do, or something you've been thinking about doing, whether it's going back to school, getting a bachelor's, a master's, or just opening up a business or whatever it may be, starting a podcast. So many people are so scared to take the leap. Like they're so scared to take the leap because they're so scared of failing.
Yeah.
And with her, she said that at the beginning she had 0. And if you guys don't know who Lisa Nichols, search her. Just do, a search and you'll find all kinds of information from her. But, she started with nothing and she had a dream and she was broke as shit and she didn't know how she was going to do it. And everyone, in her life, from teachers, always told her that she was no good. Like she just wasn't good enough. And she always felt like she wasn't good enough. And she had a dream and she just decided, you know what? I'd rather fail. And if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail bad. Like I'm going to fall on my face, but I'm going to get back up. And she's like, that's what makes me different, is that I'm willing to fail.
Yeah.
She's like, so many people are not willing to take the risk.
You know what that reminds me of? Kind of an analogy is playing football. When I was a kid, and anybody out there that's played like organized football and with pads and all that, they always tell you, even when you're practicing, like you can't half step. Don't half step it. Don't half speed it. Go 100% all the time. Because if you don't go 100%, you're going to get hurt.
Right.
So like if like that moment that you take to think or that you slow down, it's like there's times when you have to go.
Right.
It's time to go. And that's one of those things.
So last week, Audrey's game, Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Audrey's she's had this challenge with just going for it, like going for a shot, right?
Yeah.
And so normally she'll get the ball, she'll pass it. Get the ball, pass it. Well, last week, because her coach has been training her on shooting, right? Like shoot,
like
Audrey,
taking a shot.
Shoot.
Take the shot.
Right. And he's like, I'd rather you take the shot and miss it than not take the shot.
Yeah.
And Saturday they were gaming and she got the ball. She looked up, she shot, she made it. And she was so surprised, right?
Well, she got the ball and there was nobody on her. Well, this is the thing. Earlier in the game, she had got the ball and she started dribbling and then she got the ball stolen.
Yes.
But before she got it stolen, there wasn't anybody around her. She could have just stopped dribbling or not even dribbled it and just shot it.
Right.
And then the second time, she got it again, and I think she dribbled it maybe once or twice, and her coach, and we're all
yelling,
shoot! And she's like, I just shot it, and she got it in. It's like, yeah!
Oh, and I was so excited for her because I knew that was her breakthrough.
And you know what? She took another shot today.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you just need to go for it. You just need to do it.
Yeah.
And
there's things that you can't half step. You just got to go for it.
Yeah.
So one thing that we were talking about is, I think we're at that, we're coming up to something similar. We've had some success, from where we've came from. We've come a long way and
a long way.
Yeah. And we'll get into some of that in a little bit, but, we've gotten to a point where we're doing well, right?
Yeah.
The careers are going good. The family's doing well for the most part. That's another, we got to talk about our parenting status that we're going to put up. But, for the most part, we've gotten to a place where there's stability and it's like stability and consistency. Like things are good and it's just been that way for a little while,
like,
right?
They're great. They've never been where they are today.
Yeah.
Right.
So now we've been approached with an opportunity.
Well, not really. We've been thinking about it.
We have been thinking about like what is the next thing that we're going to do?
Yep. What's the next step?
And we also we keep our eyes open and our ears open for things that are happening. And somebody shared something with us. Now, this is the thing. This is something that I just thought about. This person that we were talking to yesterday may have shared this with 10 other people, right?
Yeah.
Because he's obviously passionate about what he does.
Yes.
And he's probably talked to a bunch of people like, hey, what you need to do is do this and then do this. And then once you do that, we can do this and you'll be great.
Right.
But how many people have actually said, you know what? let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's actually look into it and let's go after it.
And how many people have asked the questions? Because that's what started it.
That's another thing.
Like, I found out what he did and I decided to go and ask questions. And he was so willing to openly share.
Yeah.
You know, share his success.
Yep.
And most people are.
Yeah. That's true.
You know?
So one thing is that you have to be listening, watching, paying attention for opportunities that are around, because if we weren't paying attention, then we probably would have just never even talked about it.
Right.
But now that we have talked about it, there's another step. Now there's action that we have to look into, things that we have to do to see if we can get this thing going, or if it's something that we want to do. And depending on what happens, we'll probably, we'll definitely share more information as we learn more about it, because we're in like the very, very it's just pretty much, it's like a thought, right? And we're just kind of trying to figure out what the next steps are.
Right.
But you have to be ready to
take action.
Move.
Yes.
And this, for us,
is scary.
It's very scary.
It is. It's scary.
It's very scary, because it's one of those things that, like I mentioned before, we've gotten to this place that if nothing ever changed for the rest of our life, we're living a good life.
Yes.
But there's always that stretch, that trying to grow, trying to do something else.
Yes.
And And
I was sharing.
We're gonna go for it.
I was sharing with you that when we first made the decision that we weren't going to sell our first home, instead we were going to rent it out. I mean,
that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, there was so many risks involved with that, because first of all, the lease agreement, like, the legalities and the tax, just all of it.
Yeah.
It seemed very scary.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
You just, you go and you start doing the research and you look up the information and you start asking questions to those people, the people who have done it before you, that are willing to share the information.
Yep. And something to think about is that back then we were going from our first house to buying our second house, but it's scary. It's scary when you have one mortgage, to go from one mortgage to now two mortgages.
Right.
And if you don't pay one mortgage, they can take both houses, or, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it can be scary. And it was scary in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then we got into it. We started figuring things out. We started getting a little bit more comfortable. We set up an emergency fund just in case something happens. But over time, we got really comfortable with that situation. Now it's nothing. If we lose the renter, it would suck, but we would figure it out. We know what we're going to do. Right. We're going, like you said, we're going through all that all over again. The difference is, this is on a different level.
Yes.
But when you do things like this on a different level, the risk is higher, but the return is also higher.
Right.
So
we're sharing all this with you guys because if we can do it, you can do it. Yeah. Like, if I don't know. It breaks my heart when I see, people that have so much potential, but they're so comfortable with where they are, and it's like with, when we were working Legal Shield, like, there were so many people who had so much potential, but just were not willing to take the leap.
Oh man.
They weren't willing, to move forward, and they were so comfortable with where they were. I remember this one, lady who just great personality, and was receiving, disability. And she's like, well, I can't make this much. Was it disability or Social Security? One of them. Yeah. I she's like, I have to stay under this amount.
They're limiting themselves.
And I'm like, well, what if you could make more?
What if you made 5 times that amount?
Right. But they are so scared of losing that stability. What they feel is stability.
I don't know if that is, I don't think that is being scared of losing their stability. I think that's a mentality. I think that's a different mentality.
Yeah.
That's a poor person's mentality. That's just what it is.
And we know that because we were poor. At least I grew up.
No, I mean, we've seen it and we've been around it. There's a friend of mine. I just saw this. It came up random, but an old friend of mine from jiu-jitsu, he posted something that says, nothing in this world can take the place of perseverance or of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan "Press on" has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. And that's what it is. And that's something that, with this podcast, that I am proud of it. I mean, since day one.
Proud of it or proud of us?
Well, proud of what we've done.
Yeah.
But since day one, we've said that we're going to put out a podcast a week. And we haven't missed one in 2 years. Then we made the decision that we're going to put out an extra podcast every month. Mm-hmm. This month actually may be the first month that we don't do it, only because we've done longer podcasts this month. But we've done the extra podcast every single month without missing. We said we're going to put out the 3 videos every week. We've done that without missing that. And these are the things that we've mentioned it before. If we would have missed episode 11, right? Nobody would have really noticed. The success probably wouldn't be that different, if we only missed episode 11. But the thing is that when you miss episode 11, it's okay, easier to miss episode 17.
Yes.
And it's easier to miss 34.
Yes.
And it's easier to, and then, there's opportunities that may not come because you're not doing these things consistently, or you start slowing down, or you get into these are all just habits. We have a habit now of putting out something every single week.
Yeah.
Dude, it's going to be hard to stop this because at least for me personally, I know if I stop, it's not 117 in a row anymore.
Yeah.
We're starting back from number one, so.
Yep. And breaking habits isn't the easiest thing, but who was it that said, it was Jim Quick. He said, in order to build a habit, he's like, for instance, he's like getting your kids to floss. Tell them to floss one tooth, just one tooth. Because while they're flossing that one tooth, I'm pretty sure they're going to floss the others.
Yeah.
That's just, if you don't feel like going to the gym, just go to the gym.
You're gonna pick something
get there.
up.
Yeah, just get there. And I think that's what it is, because instead we put so much pressure on ourselves. And like you said, I would stay 2 hours at the gym. What is my reality of going to the gym 2 hours a day with the schedule that I have? Right?
You gotta adjust, yeah.
So it's I tell myself, Audrey her and I started going to the gym, and it's just get there. Yeah. Even if it's just for 20 minutes, get there.
Yep.
And
you'll start moving, you'll do something.
Yes. Yeah. And she's so excited about it that I'm excited to go with her.
That's
and
awesome.
I love training her, and she's very similar to myself
about
when
jiu-jitsu.
It's time to work out, because she does not give up. It's when it gets hard, you push yourself, and that's her, and she loves it and she enjoys it.
You should talk to her about jiu-jitsu when you're working out. The reasons why to work out. I almost went off the rails.
What are you thinking about? No. What are you thinking about right now? Didn't you get enough last night? No. You've been on a roll these days.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, what? You don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Do
yeah,
you?
I do.
Yeah. I did the coach last night.
Yeah. You gonna bang the coach tonight, girl.
How do we go from talking about our daughter to that?
Oh, that's not good. You can't go from freaking Audrey.
No. Dude, did I do it or did you do it?
I don't know why you
Can
guys listen to this podcast. Oh my God.
So while we're talking about,
real quick, I wanted to mention, if you guys go back and look at our social media or one of our previous posts, one of the last videos that I posted was about apologizing to kids. Right?
Oh,
we had Sandy Semino on the podcast a couple episodes ago. Make sure you guys check it out. That was a great episode. And also, I think it's episode 48 or 46 back when we had her on the first time. But you can find it. She gave us a lot of great information. But the video that I put out was about apologizing to your kids.
Yep.
And the effects of apologizing to the kids. And last week, I had a situation with Joey where it was time for the kids to go to bed. This was after dinner. It was getting later in the evening. And Joey, he's been playing his game. He's been playing Fortnite nonstop. And that day after dinner, I told Joey, I was like, that's enough. Put it away now and go get ready for bed. So the kids go upstairs. They start getting ready. He put the game away. And they're getting ready for bed. They're in the bedrooms. And me and you are getting ready to kind of hang out, like our our nightly ritual where we just hang out. Where we hang out at night on the couch. And
on the couch. No one's going to want to sit on our couch.
Don't put a black light on that couch.
But, shut up. Stay focused, damn it.
Anyway, so they go in there. We're getting ready to hang out. And I go to check on Joe to go give him a kiss goodnight. Mm-hmm. And he is laying. I can see his legs sticking out from the side of the bed.
Yes.
And my first thought is that he's hiding behind the bed playing his game. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And then he didn't get up right away. So I thought maybe he was sticking something under the bed. Yeah. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, nothing. And I'm like, get up and get in the bed. So he jumps up and gets in the bed. And I'm like, what were you doing down there? Nothing. I was like, were you playing your game? No. If I look down there, if I find your Nintendo underneath the bed, you're going to be in some serious trouble. You hear me? And he's like, yeah. And I go down there and I look and I don't see anything. Yeah. And I stand up and I'm like, what were you doing? He was like, I was trying to get the cat. And I look under the bed and the cat's down there. And at first I was just going to be like, all right, whatever.
Right.
And then Joey says, if you told me not to play the game, I wouldn't do that after you told me not to.
Aww.
And then I thought about it.
Yep.
And I was like, he's right. Yeah. If I told him not to play the game, he's not the kind of kid to grab the game and sneak and go play it after I told him not to.
Right. Yeah.
And I felt bad. And I told him, I was like, you know what, Joey? I was like, you're right. You're not that kind of kid. I was like, whenever I ask you to do something, I normally never have to tell you again. Like you do listen. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was like, that wasn't right.
And that's so meaningful. And it's such a great lesson because he sees that you're not perfect.
Yeah.
And he sees that you're willing to apologize when you're wrong. And, with Audrey, like there's just, some things that, that we've been, talking to her about and trying to get her to see it for herself. And, like she's been telling, like lies here and there. And, I get a bit disappointed and, and I let her know. And then it was you, I think. You walked in during the conversation and you said,
I've lied to my dad.
I used to lie too. Yeah. And then I slowed down and I'm like, so did I.
Yep.
And I wrote this, I started really just thinking about everything, just everything about what we're going through with Audrey and with the kids.
And that's something, that's something that I learned listening to Joe Rogan. Like I remember there was a podcast that I was listening about him talking to his daughters. And it's crazy. It is kind of weird, but he was just like the way it seemed that he talks to his daughters is like the way you would talk to your friends or like regular people. I mean, not in the exact sense. But you're talking to them like adults.
Yes, like a little adult.
Like they understand because they do.
Yes.
And when they do something, like he was like, yeah, man, I fuck up all the time. I am a fuck up. Like I fucked up my whole life. Mm-hmm. He'll tell them I used to lie to my parents. I used to do this, and he'll tell them why. And that's one thing that I remember. Like I was just like, why not? I did lie, and I lied because I was scared I was gonna get in trouble.
Right.
And sometimes it's just like, fuck, for parents out there, how many times when you were a kid did you say, I don't know?
Right.
When your parents fucking says something and then now your kids say, I don't know to you and you lose your mind.
Right. Yes.
Like, dude, you used to say the same dumb shit.
See, but that's the thing. It's being...
Dude, I remember one day my dad was so fucking pissed because he was like, why did you do that? I don't know. Why did you do that? I don't know. If you fucking tell me why I don't know one more time, why'd you do that? I don't know. It's fucking... I'm gonna fucking kill you.
But it's so hard being a conscious parent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just being aware. And when I started thinking about things, I realized, that, Adriana has all these amazing, beautiful qualities about herself. And she is going to mess up and she's going to make mistakes. And so did we.
Yeah.
Like hopefully she doesn't make as many as you did, but no.
Hold up while you read this.
So I just want to read my post to you all. Okay, so it's a post on Facebook, and I took a picture of her working out, and it says she is beautiful, smart, sensitive, strong, emotional, creative, loving, curious, competitive, spiritual, aware, and also a preteen. She is learning more and more about herself, others, and life. Her brain is developing rapidly, and so is she physically. She is learning to take responsibility for her decisions and actions because there are always consequences, good and bad.
Yep.
She makes mistakes, and so do I. She doesn't listen at times and tends to roll her eyes. I used to drive my mom crazy with that. So have I. She fights with her brother all the time and drives me crazy. My mom as my witness, so did I. She has lied, but so have I. She has received a bad report card.
Yeah, go for it.
And so did my husband.
You suck.
I don't expect perfect. Like, I don't expect them to be perfect.
Yeah.
But we do expect them to learn from their mistakes, right? Like, we expect her to give 100%. Her and Joey 100%. With everything that they do. Like, their heart.
Dude, I don't give 100% with everything that I do. They're like you,
but
like
that's
you,
something
like,
that we need to focus on.
I understand, but like you said, when you go to the gym and you're not feeling it, go to the gym. It's better than not.
Right.
And you're not gonna put in 100%. You might put in 60%, but you know what? It's better than nothing.
Right.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
What I expect is for her to be kind and loving to herself and others. That's big for me. What I expect for her is to take full responsibility for her actions and never be too proud to apologize. What I expect for her is to always be humble. What I expect is for her to walk in her truth and to ask questions whenever in doubt. And I had to remind myself too that I was once a preteen.
Yeah.
Because those, and I think that there, just being aware of that and being okay with that and allowing her to be herself. Because a lot of times with us, we don't know what we don't know, right? Yeah. Like growing up, you don't have to grow up in an abusive home or mentally, physically abusive home or, to have past trauma in order to grow up and become an adult and not know how to parent correctly.
Yeah.
Right? Like a lot of times we talk about how when Audrey, was growing up, how we responded to her at times.
Yeah.
When we, instead of asking her to do something, we demanded.
Yeah. A lot. Yeah. Similar to the way we grew up.
Right.
Sometimes. Yeah.
And at times we have garbage. We are holding garbage inside that we are unaware of. And the way we parent has to do with that garbage that's inside of us that we are unaware of.
Now you're getting into the
what?
The book.
What book?
The book that we're listening to. The drama of the gifted child. All the stuff that you have from when you grew up.
But so much has been coming at me,
lately?
That way. And I know that it's God telling me that there's healing that needs to take place. Yeah. And I'm so excited for that healing. And I was talking to an older, she was about, 55 years old. And she happened to ask me for my age. And she's like, I don't mean to be rude. And I'm like, I'm 44. Like, I don't have a problem with my age. And I'm excited. Like, I love where I'm at today, but I'm so excited, of who I'm becoming.
Yeah.
At the age of 50, I can only imagine where I'm going to be because I am so focused on getting better. Yeah. Because if I get better, then I can help. You know what I'm saying? Then I will be a better wife. I'll be a better parent. I'll be a better friend, a better daughter.
Yeah.
And I can help others if I find out, how to take care of this garbage that I'm holding on to, then I can help others.
Yeah, and anything that we figure out, I mean, obviously that's what the podcast is about. Is to share it with you guys. Like we mentioned, what we have going on. Once we know more about it and we have clearer details on what we're going to be doing, we'll share it with you guys, because there's nothing to hide. That's one thing that I've heard Joe Coy talk about, is like with comedians, like that they feel that there is and it's not just in comedy, but he mentioned it in that arena, that like people feel like, oh, this person's having success. It's that envy. It's like, oh, this person's having success, and they're gonna take, a big piece of the pie. And it's like, their pie is not your pie.
Right.
They have their own pie.
Right.
And there's plenty of pies to go around.
Yes.
So just because they're having success doesn't mean that you're not going to have success.
Right.
And that's just like the person that we were talking to yesterday, they could have had that feeling. Same thing with Bill. Yeah. They could have had that feeling and just
and
not
like, share.
Oh, yeah, I work in construction and that's
whatever. It. Right. Yeah.
But instead they share.
See, but those people, and this is people that bless people will always be blessed. And I feel that to the bottom of my core.
Say that again. We need to make that a t-shirt.
People that bless, well, it's in the Bible. You bless others, you'll always be blessed.
Or should I play the gong instead?
And willing to share your mistakes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's how people learn.
Yep.
And there was something else I was going to say, and shit. Oh, like I was telling my cousin yesterday, I am so happy. Like, I'm so happy you're winning. I am so happy. And I'm sitting there because I know, his struggle, and my other cousin who I haven't seen for years, we went to their wedding.
You're even happier for them, for knowing where they came, knowing what they've been through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And seeing them winning and seeing them happy.
Yep.
Like, I was so excited for them.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand those people that
it's a different mentality. It's just they don't understand.
And you can't take it personal either though, because you don't know what they gone through, and you don't know where this feeling is coming from. Like, it's like, if you're, like I was telling Adriana, I'm like, if you're playing basketball, and you're feeling that you're not good enough, that pain that you're feeling, it's a wake-up call. That means you need to get better.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times our pain, our triggers, it's your spirit telling you there's something that needs to be fixed. There's something that needs to be held. There's something that needs to get worked on. Yeah. You need to get better, right? It's a wake-up call.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. Like, if there's something where I'm not happy, if something's going on in our marriage, right? And we're upset and we're at each other, there's a reason for it. Like, especially if, it's just something that continues to come up.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's got to get worked out.
Yes. And you got to start doing some work.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's like, where do you start? And that's why I was talking to you about it yesterday. Like, how did we get to where we are today? Like, how did we figure out our past triggers? And I think it was just talking to each other, or past traumas.
It's always been
talking to each other.
The more you talk, the more you'll
and listening, like looking for answers. Because if you start asking the universe questions, the universe is going to answer back. And who said it? They're like, praying, right?
Just keep my finger on that button.
Asking questions, praying, asking questions. Meditating is being quiet to receive the answer.
Yeah. You know what? There was something that I was thinking about, because there's a lot of people that talk about quieting the mind and all that. I've gotten quite a bit of shit done in my life. And it didn't come from the quiet part of my mind. So I'm sure there's good things from quieting the mind, but there's also benefits to keeping your mind sharp. And
you need both.
And thinking.
You need both,
stuff.
Right?
Because if you think about it, like people like Elon Musk, I I don't know him personally, but it seems like with everything that he's got going on, his mind is probably going all the time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You need a balance.
But you know what I mean? Like, he is super successful, and maybe it's people like that just, they have this unrelenting drive to get shit done that, you know, do things like that.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you a lot of things that have came to me was when I was quieting the mind.
I'm sure there's benefits to both.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot of things that have came to me was quieting the mind, just listening for answers.
But I'm sure you've also, not saying that it's bad, but I'm sure you've also gotten a lot of things when you sit and think about certain things.
Not when I'm constantly thinking. I don't know. It's just different. I'm different.
Yeah. Okay.
You know? But there's times when there's a time for it. But there's a time as well when you're struggling. It's time for me. I just found that quieting the mind has helped me.
And for me,
tremendously.
And for me, there's times when I sit there and I'll think about something and I'm like, well, what about this? Mm-hmm. And how about that? What if we do this? Mm-hmm. What is this an option? And then eventually it's like, maybe if we do this and that, it'll work out. And then it does. But there's, like I said, it's
different people.
There's different, benefits to both.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, like we mentioned, we've been going at this thing for 2 years strong, and we're going to keep going. And if you guys want to help us out, if you guys want to support us, make sure you go to oppositesattractpodcast.com and share it with those that you know. You can find all of our social media there. You can follow us there. You can watch the podcast. You can listen to it. And you'll also see a tab if you're on the computer that says support the show, or if you're on your phone, you can hit the menu button and it'll say support the show. If you click on that, it'll take you to our Amazon link, and anything that you purchase through Amazon doesn't cost you anything extra, but we'll get a couple pennies whenever you buy something by going through that link. And you'll also see, if you go to Amazon and you search Opposites Attract Podcast, you'll find our merch.
Yes.
Yeah, we got shirts. We have phone cases.
Like we got butt plugs.
Like you can see here. Yeah, it's got our logo on it, so you can see your favorite podcast from behind. Oh, really, babe?
That's what I'm going to call the little, what is it?
The pop socket for your phone?
Sockets.
Yeah.
It's going to be a butt plug.
Oh my God. But we got baseball t-shirts. We got all kinds of stuff. So if you guys go to Amazon and search Opposites Attract Podcast, you guys will find it there. We're also affiliates with, if you go to the Support the Show tab.
You're on a roll.
You'll also see a link to Trust Inc.
And Trust Inc., we are a nationwide mobile notary agency and signing agency. So we do a lot of work with law firms and title companies. If you are looking to refinance, sell, or purchase a home, you can request Trust Inc. to be your signing agency.
Great. And you can go to Trust Inc. directly by going to trustinkusa.com. And you can also check out our reviews on Google or wherever we have great reviews. And we're also affiliates with Libsyn, which is who they distribute our podcast. And if you guys have a hobby and you've thought about starting a podcast and you want to put that out there, you can try Libsyn, promo code OAP for Opposites Attract Podcast, and they can distribute your podcast to the world. They do it to Amazon Music, iTunes, Spotify. I mean, they put it out everywhere. Yeah. So you can use promo code OAP by going to Libsyn, and that'll get you the rest of whatever month you sign up in for free, and it'll get you the next month for free just for using promo code OAP on Libsyn.
That was a whole lot.
There we go.
So Audrey was looking at your list earlier, and she's like, why is this all about Joey?
No, we got different stuff.
I know. That's what I told her. I'm like, there's all kinds of stuff. I'm like, don't worry about it. We talk about you all the time. Problem child. No.
Yeah. Hey, so
she's loving. She's a good girl, man.
So we've been talking that on this show, we're going to have to do this like right in the beginning of the show. Just like to start the show, we're going to have to do like a little graphic on the video or whatever. Like a parenting status. Like, how are we doing for this week? And it'll be, I don't know if we could do a scale or it'll just be thumbs up or thumbs down. Because there's some weeks when we're like, we're on top of shit. We know what's going on. We can give advice to everybody. And then there's some weeks where like, dude, we need to fucking shut our mouth because we obviously don't know shit when it comes to parenting. And
I feel good this week.
This week we feel good. This week
it's great. Like I loved watching you dance, when you two were on the dance floor.
Oh, man.
I loved it. It was so beautiful.
Stevens was talking shit, my friend from New York. Hell yeah. He's like, dude, I see you. He's like, you've thrown your dance moves out altogether or you left them back in 1997. He's talking shit.
Was he?
Yeah. I'm like, whatever, man.
Be like, I was dancing with my daughter, not my wife. No.
I'm about to start backing it up on her and shit.
I know, right?
Oh, me and you, we've had some good times. I think we told it on the podcast, right? When I was working at that one place.
Which one? Which place?
I was working at that aviation company, and I already knew I was leaving.
Oh.
Anyway, for those of you that are new that haven't heard it, there was this place that I was working, and I had gotten a new job. Like I had a start date, I had everything, and the new start date was happening in January. Mm-hmm. So I was still with the old company through like the holiday Christmas parties, right?
We had such a good time.
And the thing is that the old place that I was at, they didn't know that I was going to be leaving yet because I hadn't given them my 2-week notice or whatever. So we're going to this Christmas party and people are telling me like, dude, so this is a great opportunity to like rub elbows with the CEO and the executives and all the higher up people. But the thing is that they didn't know I was leaving already.
Right.
So, and this place, when they have a party, like they take care of their people. They throw down. Mm-hmm. They have an open bar. They have good food. They had everything. So they were saying like, hey, there's some people that don't give a shit and they just get tore up at these parties. Like if you're trying to, get to know people and network and move up, he's like, this is going to be a great place. And I'm like, well, I'm fucking out anyway. And I told you that.
Yeah.
So we show up to this Christmas party fucking ready to party. Oh my, dude, we were double fisting that night.
We were, right?
We were double fisting.
Goodness.
We tore the food up and then we're like out on the dance floor. And it's funny because we're out on the dance floor. Sonia and I, like, we're bumping and grinding. Yeah. They're like, what the fuck is going on? And then little did we know, there's like this dude with his wife, and he turned out to be one of the executives, right? And he was like having a good time. And he's like, hey, you guys are having a good time. He's like, yeah, this is fun. And then, that was, but people were like, what the fuck is he doing?
See, but that's what I love. Like, I have so many things that I love about us. But the one thing we've always been able to do is when we go out, like dancing, or even just to the Fry's bar around the corner, like we always have such a good time together. Just you and I. Like we don't need other people around. It's just us.
Fry's is a supermarket here in Arizona. Yes. For those of you that don't know. Yeah, and the supermarket has like a little bar inside. Yeah. It's a freaking nice supermarket.
So while Miguel's shopping, I'm drinking.
It works out nice.
But we've always been able to have a good time. And I think that is so important for the kids to see. Like, it's so important for them to see that, you know what? We have disagreements, right?
Yeah.
And how we handle those disagreements.
Yep.
And how loving and connected we are together in front of them. And sometimes we'll be acting as if we're like hardcore making out just to like
they start feeling on each other's backs and
and they're like,
they get grossed out.
But you think Audrey's gonna want any less? She sees you opening my car door. She sees, how you are with me, and she's not gonna want anything less.
Well, she's not going to. So it's like when she brings somebody home, they got to go through me first. So.
Right. But I'm saying she's going to have an idea of what kind of
standard.
Husband or boyfriend that she wants. Hopefully. I mean, that's what I'm praying. They say to lead by example, and that's exactly what we were doing. And earlier we had a conference Zoom call with our investor talking about the idea that we're getting into, the next step that's scaring us. And she was sitting in the office and I'm like, Audrey, like I was going to ask her to go into a room, but I'm like, you know what? this is good for her. This is good for her to see and to hear that, what we're doing. And I think that a lot of the conversations that we do have when it comes to money or challenges, and actually, next level, going to money, all of that, I think that we need to bring them, get them involved.
Well, I think we should share what we're thinking about doing with them, like once we know what we're going to do, because it's true. It's good for them to understand what we're doing, that we are going for it. Like we're not staying complacent. Like Yeah.
And another thing too is like, I don't ever recall my mom or dad talking about estate planning and why it's so important to have that in place.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something else that maybe, we should talk to them about. I mean, Joey today was like, hey, Mom, is the house that we're living in, the house we're living in today? Yes. Is that house going to be our house, like mine and Audrey's house? I'm like, dude, are you trying to kill us or what? What's going on? Like, you already having... Yeah.
They were asking me that earlier this week.
Oh, were they?
Yeah,
well, he just asked me that like today.
So you guys on the listening to this or watching this podcast, or if we turn up missing, the first two subjects are the kids. They're trying to get the houses.
And Audrey, I was talking to her about college because I don't know how the subject came up, but we were leaving it an option, right? Yeah. Maybe, and I don't know.
We got to talk about it. I still
see. Yes, but it's like, if they don't feel that they have to go, they may slack in their grades because of it, versus if we take them to universities, like we start, when they're in junior high or not junior, I would say like a junior in high school.
Well, you're saying like set that expectation.
Yes, definitely. And then we will be able to recognize whether it's something for them, even if they go for a year or two and they decide that, hey, it's not for them. I mean, I only attended for 2 years.
Yeah.
And look at me now.
Kicking ass and taking names. Actually, speaking of kicking ass and taking names. So recently, not recently. So right now we're in the process of doing our taxes. And I mean, we've already got all that sorted out, but kind of going over this last month, going over all the numbers and everything. Dude, you had like destroyed last year. I mean, it's the most that either one of us have ever made. Right. Yeah. And just in your business, which was awesome. It's
unbelievable. I'm just like shocked.
Well, you know what? That's there goes the video, because
we had a goal, and I don't think we should throw our numbers out, but I mean, we had a goal and I almost doubled the goal. Like what we hit was almost double what my goal was.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was crazy, but in not but no, just kind of thinking about it, that was what we wanted to do that was what we set out to do in the beginning, was I would work and then you build a business, and then
he's
eventually
trying to make me his sugar mama, man.
Babe, we said that from the beginning.
I know.
But no, and it's awesome to see that it's happening. And last week we went out to go get breakfast. And we're at this restaurant after church, and none of the items on this menu have a price.
Right.
And I never actually looked at it. And this time we had Joey's friend too, right?
Yes.
So it was the two of us. We had Joey, Audrey, and one of his friends. And no prices on the menu. And it's like, all right, well, what do you want? What do you want? I mean, it's breakfast. It's like a brunch place. So what do you want? We just order. And then Sonja's like, how much is it? And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. So from now on, like I start telling Sam, I'm like, dude, you got it. It's all right. You got it.
I'm going to put you on and you're going to get an allowance.
From now on, like anytime Sonja's like, how much is it? I'm like, you got it. Don't worry about it. But it's funny because I was telling you, I was like, what else were we doing? We were shopping somewhere, and she's like, do you think I should? And I'm like, you can get whatever you... I was like, whatever you want. I was like, if you want this one, I was like, get this one and that one. I don't give a fuck.
I was looking at necklaces.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I was looking at necklaces.
Yep.
And you're like, I don't care.
I don't care. Get whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Fuck yeah. I was like, I'm going shopping too.
It's, what, another thing, just to, be transparent with you all. what makes me nervous is getting into the next tax bracket. Like, just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're limiting yourself now.
I know, baby. I'm just saying, just being transparent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because listen, the more money you make, people think that your problems are all going to be solved. And it's like, hey, the more money you make, the bigger problems you have to solve, right?
Yep.
You know, so it's just at a different level. That's all that is.
True.
You know, and so I'm so glad that we have mentors in our lives that are willing to teach us and show us, and that we have the right people in place today to help us get to the next level. Because, you know, it is scary. But like we were saying, hey, if we fall on our face, we already know what we need to do to get back up.
We've done it before.
You know, and people that have fell on their face, right? Very successful people, you know, ended up,
because once you know, you know.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. Yep. Once your eyes are open, they're open.
Yeah.
You know, there's no turning back. And by the way, this is not a coyote sitting next to me. No.
They can't see it now because
they're going to still listen.
Because the camera went off. But for those of you that were watching the podcast, the camera went off. But we have, for the first time, we got Nisi with us, our first puppy dog.
Yes.
She's not a puppy anymore.
We had her before we had our kids.
Yeah.
She's about 14 years old. 14. Yeah, because we've been married for 13 years. I keep saying 12.
She's been a sweetheart the entire time.
She's amazing. She knows all the secrets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
if dogs could only talk.
Oh, man.
We'd be in trouble. No.
Yeah. For real. So,
yeah.
So we were listening. I was listening to that book, The 4 Agreements. There was something that the guy mentioned, and it kind of goes to, like we've talked about on here before, like gossiping and talking.
Yes.
But he said that gossip is like a computer code written in the same language as other code, but with a malicious intent. When I heard that, I was like, holy shit. Like, that is exact, because it's just words. It's just talking, like he was saying. So talking in words is just like any other word. And it's just like another code for a computer. The thing is that with gossip, that code has a malicious intent. It's like a virus for your computer.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, damn, that's pretty cool.
And not only that, you know, but if you are the one that people are calling with to gossip, you've opened that door.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. For me, I've never been okay with that. And you know that.
Yeah.
Anyone that calls me with gossip, it's like, I'm out. Yeah. I'm just not. I'm not willing to go there.
Yeah.
You know, because it does not end well, ever.
Yeah.
You know?
True.
The 4 agreements. We have not talked about that on this podcast, like, at all. So I didn't know you were going to bring it up, because I have like tons of notes regarding that, and we don't have tons of time.
Well, maybe on the next episode we can get into the 4 agreements a little bit more. But one thing that we did watch was, well, you didn't. I don't know if you saw the whole thing, but that show on Netflix, Seaspiracy, about the ocean.
Oh,
holy shit, man!
Yes.
That video was crazy. It's a documentary on Netflix about the ocean. It's called Seaspiracy. And it's actually pretty scary. Like, just what people are doing to the ocean. If you guys don't know about, I think it's called the Great Atlantic Garbage Patch. See if you can find that. The Great Atlantic Garbage Patch. Or just put Atlantic Garbage Patch, see if it comes up. But if you guys look up pictures, there is this section of the ocean where, I guess, I don't know if it's the current or what's happening out in the ocean, but where stuff just accumulates. And all the garbage that we're dumping from all these different countries, like, it starts to migrate and it accumulates in this one place. And this freaking thing of garbage is huge. I mean, I think you can walk across it because it's so dense and there's so much crap in there.
What is it called, babe?
The Atlantic Garbage Patch.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's freaking crazy. But this whole documentary is about the ocean animals, and about how the ocean affects the rest of the earth.
Yes. Our oxygen. I mean, yeah, it's just, and I never even thought, did you know that we received some oxygen from the ocean?
I had no idea.
I thought it was all the trees.
I didn't know about that.
I thought it was, yeah. Like,
well, that's what they were saying. They were saying that like we focus so much on like saving the rainforest and planting more trees and all this, and that stuff is great. But that stuff is literally like a drop in the bucket compared to how much the ocean helps with like greenhouse gas emissions and, you know, all the stuff that's destroying the earth, like how much the ocean contributes to keeping the earth, you know, sustainable, I guess. Right. And man, we are destroying it at an insane rate.
Yes.
One of the statistics that I got from that, and this is the thing, is that I've only seen this, and I don't know, I haven't done a lot of research about anything else, but if everything that's in this documentary is true, it is freaking scary. Yes. But they were saying that we may be out of fish in the ocean in our lifetime. By the year 2050, there may not be fish in the ocean.
And they said that, and it's not like, oh, we're not going to have fish to eat. That's not what we are concerned about.
Yeah. No, it's destroying the earth.
The environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, like what the ocean does for the planet is huge. And I can't remember all the things that it does, but watch it. Yes.
Yeah, documentary on Netflix, right?
Yeah, and eating seafood and like how people like throwing away straws, like how people think, you know what? I'm not gonna use plastic utensils. I'm not gonna drink plastic bottles. That is. It's a problem, but it's not the main problem.
Yeah.
The main problem is fishing. Like commercial fishing is destroying the oceans to the point where it's hard. And the thing that they were talking about is like the ocean can come back. Like the ocean has a way to, you know,
revive itself.
Yeah, revive itself. And it's good at that, but we just don't give it the chance to do it. Like we just keep destroying and destroying and destroying.
Yeah, all the illegal fishing that they were talking about.
Yeah, it's very scary. But yeah, it's called Seaspiracy. Yeah, definitely check it out. But one of the things that they're talking about is like eating less fish, because that would help.
We should show Joey that.
No, I think it's good to watch with the kids. It's very sad. And I felt bad watching it.
Yes,
I felt bad. Like, you know, like you talk about, I don't know. Like I feel
it's becoming I feel for more the aware. Yeah,
I feel for the animals because you see the way these animals, like, you know, they cut the fins off of the shark.
The dolphins, like, yes, they were just.
And this is the thing, like as humans, you look at a dolphin and it's like, oh, how cute. And then you look at a shark and it's like, oh, look at that. You know, and if somebody kills a shark, you don't really feel bad or as bad for the shark as you would for the dolphin.
Right.
But that's because we're freaking stupid. The dolphin, it's only because it's cuter. Right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a cockroach and a freaking ladybug?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm killing a roach.
I understand. But you know what I'm saying? Like you got one bug that just because it looks ugly, it's like, okay, step on it and smash it.
Right.
But this one, don't kill it because it's cute. You know, and the same thing with the sharks. Like they serve a huge purpose in the ocean. And they're freaking just chopping fins off and throwing them back in the ocean, like, and they just die.
Yeah.
It's freaking horrible.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I was telling you, now I can understand why people become vegans.
Yeah, I can get it.
You know, but save the planet.
But then at the same time, like you think about it and it's like, okay, what if I stop eating fish? I mean, but I understand. It's like if everybody was to do it, but it's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. So. It's reality.
Yep.
There's so many animals as well that are becoming distinct.
Extinct?
Extinct, sorry. Distinct.
Yep. Distinct.
Extinct.
Oh, man. But yeah, so no, check it out. It's called Seaspiracy on Netflix. And are
you done with my phone?
You need your phone?
I'm like, I got all my notes in here.
So anyway, I think yeah, we appreciate you guys listening. Thank you guys for make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. You guys can go and click on the support the show tab, and you can check out our stuff on Amazon. You can buy stuff through Amazon. You can also go to Trust Inc. by going to trustinkusa.com.
All that good stuff. Well, thank you all for listening to Opposites Attract podcast,
where we get better
together. Bye.